So, in short, I want to discuss with you guys today the benefits of adding a toddler book club to the Bay County library system. So, as a student who's actually going to Northern Kentucky University, I'm actually going in for library informatics, and my biggest dream is to be a children's librarian. And so I can't express to you guys enough how crucial literacy is for children. But with that being said, I'd like to share some facts from the National Education Association. So first off, 26% of children who were read to 3 or 4 times in the last week were actually able to recognize all 26 letters of the alphabet, and this is compared to 14% of children who weren't read to as frequently at all. And the more types of reading materials that there are in home reading, actually, the higher the students are in reading proficiency according to educational testing services. So with that being said, I tried this out at my local library when I moved to Wendon, Arizona, and it was really, really successful. So this was called Toddler Time, and basically I was a part of this class called Library Programs for Children. And with that being said, I went up to my head librarian and I wanted to see if she would be okay with me trying out a toddler book club, and she was, and I called it Toddler Time. So the age group that this consisted of was mostly children between the ages of 1 and 3, and what they would do is they would come in, I would read to them a book, and I would help them read, and then we would do a craft together, and we would have a snack, and then basically for the rest of the time they would interact with each other. So I wanted to go ahead and share with you an example of a book that I did. It was called, my very first week, it was called The Rainbow Fish by Mark Feister. And if you guys haven't read that book, which I've read it 1,000 times since I was a little girl, it's basically about a fish who doesn't share his pretty scales and he loses all of his friends. And so this is a really, really important message for children going into school. And so with the craft that I did with this was actually calming bottles, since the scales were so pretty, it made me think of glitter. And this worked on their small and large motor skills because they would have to squeeze the glue into the bottle, they would have to shake the glitter, and on top of that, with the large motor skills, they would have to shake the bottle. And like I said, it was just so much fun to do for a first project. So I wanted to go ahead and discuss with you guys the benefits of Toddler Time that I observed while I was there. And one of the biggest ones that we did for all our crafts was fine motor skills. All the crafts basically consisted of cutting crafts and gluing, and we did that for basically every craft, and it was really good for them. So, and then the large motor skills, actually I wanted to talk to you guys about this time. I had to do this project with my library programs for children class where I set up stations with the kids, and we did the crafts like that. And it was really fun because it was around Christmas, and so we crumpled up balls of paper and we pretended those were snowballs, and we would practice throwing them into waste paper baskets. So, and they also learned letters and number recognition, and most importantly, in my opinion, was the social interaction, because they are getting ready to go to school, and it is really good for them, to interact with each other. And it was just, like I said, it was really nice. And so an example that I have was one of the very first girls that I ever worked with Toddler Time. Actually, she moved from Texas all the way to Wendon, Arizona, and she had a lot of trouble with being shy and interacting. But it was kind of funny first week compared to last week, because at the last week she went from being just glued right on me to having so many friends and looking forward to every week coming. So it was really cool. So I know that it can be a challenge, especially for a toddler book club, to pick out a book that would apply to toddlers in a fun way and would keep them entertained for an hour. So I wanted to go ahead and show you my example. So this is Pout Pout Fish, and I actually read this at the Montessori school, and it's by Deborah Dyson. And like I said, I read this at my school to the Montessori children, and they absolutely loved it. And the message behind it was so awesome. It basically, it's about a little fish who goes to school, and he's really nervous about his first day, and so he doesn't think he can do it, and he wants to give up, but a teacher actually tells him how smart he is. And so the message is you are smart, you will understand school, you belong at school, and you should never forget that. And so like I said, it was just such an important message. So the craft I actually ended up I wanted to show you guys that you could do with this is this right here. And basically it's really simple. You just basically take a paper plate and you make Pout Pout Fish's face. And so this works on their fine motor skills because they're able to paint and they're able to glue, eyes, and it lets them be creative because they can choose whatever face they want for him. So, in conclusion, I just want to talk to you guys how important reading is for abundance of reasons. It promotes working minds, and it makes children, it makes them to where they're so creative, and it just gives them powered head start for school. So we just need to remember how important children are and how important it is for them to be happy and for them to socialize because they are our future. So and I think having a book club would really, really help with that. And so, well, thank you guys so much for listening to me, and I hope you guys have a really good day.